Right now, your brain is under attack between the endless notifications, the constant digital noise, and the pressure to always be producing. We are living in an era of chronic mental exhaustion. Most people let a single bad email or a rude comment from a stranger ruin their entire day, dragging their mood straight into the dirt. But 2,000 years ago, Roman emperors and enslaved philosophers figured out a psychological cheat code. They didn't have smartphones, but they had betrayal, plagues, and brutal wars. And through it all, they remained completely unshakable. Today, we're breaking down the four primary pillars of Stoic self mastery that will make you entirely immune to modern stress. Let's start with the absolute foundation, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus famously taught that our biggest source of misery is trying to control things that are fundamentally outside of our power. Think about it. You cannot control the traffic, you cannot control the stock market, and you absolutely cannot control what your boss or your peers think of you. When you stress over these things, you are literally giving away your personal power. The Stoic solution is a brutal daily mental filter. The next time a crisis hits and your chest tightens, ask yourself one question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, you must train your mind to say, then it is nothing to me. Focus 100% of your energy on your own actions, your own words, and your own character. Everything else is just noise. Now, understanding this mental filter is great, but how do you actually build the physical and emotional grit to back it up? That brings us to our second pillar, and trust me, this one is going to push you way out of your comfort zone. Pillar number 2 is voluntary discomfort. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, used to spend a few days every single month eating the cheapest food, wearing rough, dirty clothes, and sleeping on the hard ground. Why would a millionaire do that? Because comfort makes us fragile. When you get used to everything being perfect, the exact right room temperature, the perfect cup of coffee, the coziest bed, you become a slave to your environment. By intentionally choosing to skip a luxury like taking a freezing cold shower tomorrow morning, fasting for a day, or sleeping on the floor, you prove a profound truth to yourself. You can survive without the comforts. You break the fear of losing them, and suddenly you are no longer a hostage to your desires. But physical grit is only half the battle. The real war is fought inside your head during those split seconds when someone insults you or things go completely wrong. Stick with me, because this next concept is the exact mechanism that stops anger in its tracks before it can destroy your life. The third pillar is widening the gap between stimulus and response. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that external events cannot touch the soul. An event happens, that's the stimulus. You get angry or hurt, that's the response. Most people live on autopilot, letting the response happen instantly. But Stoicism teaches you that there's a sacred space between those 2 points. In that space lies your absolute freedom. When someone cuts you off in traffic or disrespects you, the insult doesn't actually hurt you. It's your judgment about the insult that causes the pain. If you can learn to pause, take a deep breath, and look at the situation objectively, without labeling it as a disaster, the negative emotion vanishes. You become the master of your mind, not a puppet dancing to everyone else's tunes. Now, all of these habits culminate in one final heavy-hitting practice. This is the exact mental shield the most powerful man in the world used every single morning before he stepped out of his tent to face betrayals and war. If you only apply one single thing from this video, make it this one. Pillar number 4 is the premeditation of adversity. Our natural instinct is to always hope for the best and avoid thinking about bad things. The Stoic did the exact opposite. Every morning, they mentally rehearse the worst possible outcomes. They imagine getting rejected, losing their money, being betrayed by close friends, or even facing their own mortality. This sounds dark, but it's actually the ultimate recipe for true peace. When you visualize a catastrophe before it happens, you strip away its power to shock you. Surprise is the weapon that turns a crisis into a tragedy. By expecting the storm, you are already wearing your raincoat when it hits. You don't panic, you adapt, you execute, and you conquer. If you want to stop letting the world dictate your inner peace and finally build a mind of absolute iron, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's master our minds together, one day at a time. Love and respect.